Happy Friday, y'all. Tiffanie Kellog here with another amazing woman entrepreneur living child-free. Jennifer, welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here today.
Why are you so excited to be here today?
Because it's one of those things where it's really rainy here in Charleston at the moment because I'm in South Carolina. So it's really rainy. It's very quiet. And I'm like, oh, I'm in my house just with a dog. I need some interaction. This is great. I have someone to talk to today.
It's funny. I was thinking this week, like, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but Americans have lots of issues. And from the perspective of like raising kids and from the perspective of mental health. And I'm like, we've really gotten into this American society of we live in our houses and we don't deal with people often and frequently. And we're very much here. And especially those of us that don't have kids that are coming through or don't have partners that are coming through, it can be a thing. And yeah, we do need that interaction. And I look at some of the other societies and they have that interaction more because somebody was saying something about raising a kid. And I'm like, if I was raising a kid, I need a village. I need like 20 people living in my house so that I have 19 people to take care of my kid. And then you have the interaction. You can't just go lay in bed all day if there's other people in the house.
That is so true. I have a girlfriend visiting in town right now, and we went out to lunch yesterday. And she was like, so what's it like being at home by yourself, since your husband's away? And I was like, I'm not by myself. There's still a dog. He takes a lot.
Does your husband travel often, or is this kind of a rarity?
It's a rarity that he's by himself right now. So
yeah, it is a very different thing. It's like quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't get before like the whole empty nester thing, but because I've had dogs all my life. But I want to say 2022, my last dog had passed. And I'm like, holy crap. It is quiet. Now we rescued 2 puppies 2 weeks later and it is no longer quiet. I mean, they're older now, but yeah. I'm like, are they in my office? I don't usually keep them in the office because sometimes they like to bark.
Oh, yeah. Mine is outside of my office as well. Totally understandable. Yeah. So when you don't have kids, you still have other things. You have pets that you have to take care of. So you still are extremely busy.
Yeah, I know. It's always funny. Like, oh, you're not busy at all if you don't have kids. I'm like, no, that's not how that works. But here, I want to talk a little bit about Jennifer because y'all, if you saw and are excited and you're here to see what the answer to the question is from her description that we put out last week. So, Jennifer, how did a food truck idea called Radishes and Donuts end up connecting to the nervous system healing and women's self-care? Like, I'm good at non sequiturs, but that is like next level.
So my background is really about, I come from a corporate world, first and foremost, and I got really burnt out. I love food like most people do. My husband does as well, and we do a lot of cooking. Well, when I got so burnt out in corporate world, I started to like really lean into movement a lot more. And I became a yoga teacher. And through that, you get to a space where you have to grow a little bit more or you become stagnant. And I feel like that's with anything that we do. And so I started to lean into looking at hosting retreats. And from that, I thought, well, if I'm going to provide a retreat, I don't want it just to be around yoga, all the aspects of wellness. And my husband and I started to actually prepare all the meals. And we took everything into what I love to do so much is create themes of things. And each retreat would be a theme. And so the food would be a theme around that. And at the time, it was during COVID when we were hosting these. So I was working with my own coach. And at the time, she was a gut health coach that I was working with. And we just kept talking and about the gut biome and how that health works for women and what we really need to be leaning into and looking at. From there, she asked me a particular question. She said, and I feel like anybody can answer this, honestly.
Yeah.
She said, when you were a child, what did you eat?
Mm.
And what didn't you eat? We always have these things and we're like, no, I don't like that. No, I don't like that. Especially as children. I said, there was nothing I would not put in my mouth. From donuts to radishes, I ate everything. And that sparked this interest of, well, we create all of our own food. We have our own backyard that we grow vegetables and fruits and herbs.
Wow.
Wouldn't it be nice to be able to take those two entities, put them together, and put it on a truck that we could actually serve people? Foods that didn't seem like they quite went together, but they were extremely tasty. That led definitely into us, or me more than my husband, because he's there when I need him. But it really led into me diving deeper into how does this help women and their self-care, because it truly helped mine. My inspiration, my energy, everything lifted so much more because I was in my creative zone.
Mm.
And that's kind of where I tie all of that into together.
Nice. Love that. Though, y'all, she's not here to talk about a food truck. That's not really why she's here. So it's time to go to the handy dandy bio that I will not finish reading. I'm 98% sure we're not going to finish reading this, at least not in this round, because we're going to be like, what the heck? Y'all, I'm excited. So Jen Grove is a nervous system whisperer and a venting coach, helping high-achieving women who are secretly simmering with anger and exhaustion finally unclench. There's a lot going on in that sentence alone. And I really want to read the next one, but I'm like, no, let's stop here, because I think that there's a lot of high-achieving women watching this. And it's not that, here's the thing, y'all. It's not that high-achieving women are child-free or they're not child-free. There are tons and tons of very successful, very high-achieving moms. But regardless of if you have kids or not, high achieving can be what some people call stressful. And I was just reading today a book and it says all stress is self-created. I'm like, oh crap. That really hit me hard today. All stress is self-created. I'm like, ugh, that's stressing me out. Anyway, talk to us about being a nervous system whisperer and a venting coach. And for those of you that are wondering, because I did too, venting, venting. I know I'm Southern thick today. What is that?
Well, a lot of people think venting, that means, we get with our girlfriends and we just have a quote unquote, as I'm going to say, a bitch session.
Yeah.
That's actually not what venting is. That's just complaining pretty much, because we're allowing the people around us to kind of dictate our energy. And so venting and a venting coach actually allows you to take the time to get what's off your chest, right? It's really about helping you unclench your words, your body, your energy, and tap into that truth that you want to speak without blowing up or shutting down. And it gives you the ability to set those boundaries that maybe have been so out of reach for you to even think about setting a boundary. And it really taking that time to hire a venting coach and to work with someone that listens to you without judgment, but also challenges you. It really allows you to then start to set those boundaries for you personally that feel a little bit softer, that feel a little bit safer. They're not so scary.
Yeah. And before we get into, because I want you to tell us more about that, but I'm wondering if you can just kind of give us an overview of why living in this anger and exhaustion can, I don't think people get how much our mentality plays into our whole everything, whether it's how our body works and how we interact and stuff in that nature. And so I think there's a lot of people that live in a space of being exhausted. Like they just expect that I should be exhausted, that I should be angry. I don't know that people really get the detriment that can have. So do you mind telling us a little bit about that first, so we know why it's so important for us to do what you're going to tell us about?
Yes, most definitely. So it's really interesting in society that we have today. We're so ingrained in doing, in being, in creating, that when we stop, it's usually just to fall asleep. It's usually just to crash. And that takes such a toll on our nervous system that we don't really even realize we're not checked in to all the sensations that we feel. And I love to explain this to people. It's kind of like a wow factor. When we have an emotion, no matter what that emotion is, if we allow ourselves to be in that emotion only takes 90 seconds to move through our bodies.
Wait, 90 seconds is not a long time.
No, it's a minute and a half.
Yeah. It's not a long, I mean, if you're planking, it's a long time. But other than that, it's not a lot. I had a health coach once. It's like, if you can do nothing a day, at least plank for 30 seconds and then build up from there. And so for many years, that's all I would do is plank. I'm better now, but I do more exercise now. But 90 seconds, yeah, it's really not that long.
It's not. And the caveat to that is whatever emotion that you're feeling is going to move through the body if you allow it to. That's not to say that emotion isn't going to come back up, but it's going to give you the ability to move through the emotion so that you can start to feel this clarity, this safeness in your body. A lot of times when we just speak to people in general, out in the world, how are you? How are you doing today? How are you feeling? What we hear a lot of times is, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Fine can mean so many different things. And that fine, 9 times out of 10, means that we're not connected with how our body truly feels. We can't take the time because we're in a productivity world, a society that says we have to be doing and doing and doing. When actually, if we stopped to feel just for 90 seconds, that's a cue to let us know what's happening in our bodies.
So you're bringing up 90 seconds, and I'm moving on in her bio, y'all, because it does say the next thing. She uses breath work. So in that 90 seconds, is it typically just stop, or are you breathing in that 90 seconds? Like, how do we deal? We'll get in that emotion, and like, here's the thing. And maybe I'm asking too many questions.
No, you're fine.
Because we don't always it's sometimes hard to realize that when we get into this, like it's one of those things we don't even realize. Like the next day, you're like, oh yeah, I was really angry. What was going on? For me, it's hangry. What was going on there in that instance? We don't always realize it when we're in it. So can you talk to us a little bit about, okay, what do we, how can we deal with that 90 seconds? And y'all, she is giving us the X version. So I used to say the Cliff Notes version. Nobody uses Cliff Notes anymore, but this is even shorter than that. So this is like Twitter condensed, super small. She has a wealth of knowledge that y'all can get for her to help us out. But I just wanted her to give us a little teaser today.
So I would hope that we're all still breathing, no matter what. When I say pause, that doesn't mean hold your breath, unless I am asking you to hold your breath. I'm going to put a caveat to that, because I do ask people to hold their breath quite a few times in different practices. But I think one of the biggest things, if you take nothing else away from this today, take this. Pause, notice where you are, what your sensation is. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. Breathe out through your mouth for a count of 8. And then just place your hands over your heart and repeat to yourself. You can say it out loud. If you feel uncomfortable about that, you can just say it silently. I'm safe to feel this right now. That will automatically send this information to your nervous system, to your vagus nerve, to say, okay, we're not in danger. We're not being eaten by a lion, a tiger, or a bear. We're just having a bad day.
Yeah, like even in just doing that, breathing in, because I did it, because you're like saying it, so might as well do it. And as I'm telling myself I'm safe, like I'm feeling it from my spine outward, just kind of radiating through me. And that's what, breathe in, breathe out, and say I'm safe. Like I
Yeah.
can feel that in my body.
Yeah. You are your own safety mechanism.
Mm.
We just have looked so much into what is around us to keep us safe. And there's nothing, because we're always looking for the sensation, right? The feeling. It's almost, I love to equate it as, you said hangry a minute ago, right? When we're hungry, we're trying to feed a sensation.
Mm.
It's not the food that we're intaking. It's not, well, I want a filet mignon, or I want a cheeseburger, or I want a fry. It's the sensation that you want to have after you've eaten that item.
Okay, tell us more
Same
about
with
that,
feelings.
please.
Okay, sure.
Because I was writing down, ooh, filet sounds good. I'm like, let me make a note to get my husband to cook me a good filet, because we were going to do it 2 weeks ago and then we did it. So sorry. So tell us a little bit more, please.
Okay. So, one of the biggest things is our body has all these nerves. We have nerve sensors throughout the entire body. One of the biggest nerves that we have is called the vagus nerve. It's the central nerve down the center of our body. It goes all the way from our brain, from the top of our head, down to all of our organs in the like low belly. And when that vagus nerve is softened and relaxed, we are soft and relaxed. But a lot of people, especially women who are doers, who are taking care of everything, even when we don't have kids, we still have a house to clean, a husband to take care of, or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or we have pets, we have a job, we have all of these things. And we decide, because society says that we should be doers, that we take ourselves and put ourselves on the back of our list. If we were to actually move ourselves to the top of that list, how would life look? How would life feel? A little bit more easeful, because we're taking care of ourselves. And if we're taking better care of our nervous system, whether that is breathing deeply, or what I love to do a practice with most of my clients, it's called tapping, or EFT, emotional freedom technique, to just move some of that energy, whether it's anger, frustration, or just anxiety, move it through the body and to release it. It's such a really big, intricate detail that we put on the sidelines and don't pay enough attention to, so that then society around us begins to treat us the way that we treat ourselves.
Mm.
So, would we rather be treated like these amazing, beautiful, smart women, or would we rather be treated as a machine that just needs to get the to-do list done?
And most of us are living a life of let's just get the to-do list done.
Yeah, we really are. I was that way for the longest time, until my body was just like, and we're done. We're just done. I'm
Yeah.
not listening to you anymore. And it was like, okay, something has to shift.
So talk to me a little bit about the type of high achieving women that you work with, what that looks like, because I know you have just a plethora of modalities of, you mentioned tapping, EFT, you've talked about breath work. I know you do somatic breathing and that kind of stuff. So tell us a little bit about what it looks like, how you work with your clients, that kind of fun stuff.
So I thought it was really interesting when I started working with people. They came to me just asking me for somatic. Do you do somatic work? Like, well, yeah, everything I do is somatic. But let's talk a little bit more. What are we talking about? What are you feeling, and why are you asking this question? And I think that's the biggest thing. If we need to ask the right questions so that we can receive the right answers.
Hmm.
I'm a big proponent of, when I work with a client one-on-one, they have to first go through a 30-day program. And I created this program. It's called The Art of Well-Being. This program is 30 days self-care, and it's all about you taking better care of you in the way that you need to. Everything is a suggestion, but by the time you're done with those 30 days, those clients that I work with one-on-one afterward aren't coming to me for the reason they did 30 days prior. They've now released some of the things that were just kind of muddling and holding them down. And then we can really focus on what they actually need help with. And those clients, they're different. Every one of them. We're all different beings. But that work that we do, it just depends on the client individually. I may use breath work. I may use tapping. I may use neurolinguistic practices. I may use somatic movement, yoga, Pilates, stretching. But then we're also going to do a lot of talking, a lot of venting. We're going to get through what you're feeling because we're very vocal individuals. And when we speak it, we can then work through it. Prior to that, though, I love people actually taking what I have is called the anger archetype quiz. And this was created because we all have all these sensations in our bodies. So I love how a lot of times when they want to share an emotion, it's never anger. They're never angry because anger is something we're not allowed to have, society says.
Oh gosh.
I call BS because anger is really, really important. It is part of the emotional cycle that we all go through. And whether that anger is just tiny or whether it's full blown, it's still anger and it's still valid. And you need to know where you are on that anger scale so that then you can decide what path you need to take to work through that anger and to get to the other side of where you want to feel safe in your body and your emotions.
All right, y'all. So I do have it up here on the screen, and it is wherever you're watching this, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, wherever you're watching this, you can click on the link that's in the description. But tell us the website, and is that the website we go to find you as well? Tell us how we can get in touch with you if we want to get in touch. Plus, because I think you have a pressure release toolkit coming out soon, and yeah, I don't know about the men as much. They don't show it as much. Women, I think we're just better at showing. Or maybe we're better at asking for help or venting. So we're like, I want people to commiserate with my misery. Tell me why. So she has a pressure release toolkit coming out soon as well.
Yeah. So everything can be found right through my website, which is www.jgrovewellness.com. Everything is there. All the links to all the things that I have going on. I'm on all the social media platforms as well. And you're right. I do actually have a pressure release toolkit coming out. Dives a little bit deeper into releasing some of this bent up pressure that we are holding on to.
Yeah, and most people probably don't realize how much pressure they're really holding on to. Because I mean, some people still have their 2020 COVID pressure, and they were like under pressure then, and then COVID happened, and they got more under pressure, and then it's just piled on for the past 5 years, and they haven't released the stuff from 2015.
Right.
And our bodies do not like that.
No, our bodies don't like that. Our emotions don't like it. The people around us don't like it. The energy in rooms don't like it. Like, we just need to soften and just be. And it's okay to just be. That's something that, again, society has put on us, that we're not allowed to just be in the moment. We're not allowed to just sit and rest. And that rest is not sitting in front of a TV, binging a TV show, just FYI.
Wait, not counting, watching TV does not count as rest?
No, that does not. Your nervous system is still in a heightened space because it's watching what you're watching through your eyes, right? So if you're watching a scary movie, your nervous system is heightened because you're watching something that is scary, right? If you're watching a love story, you're a little bit softer, but your nervous system is still focusing on that external instead of focusing on what's internal.
Gotcha. That definitely makes sense. And I know sometimes I'll be like, can we just watch a nature documentary before we go to bed? Because my husband likes to watch TV going to bed. It's one of those things because he travels. So when he's not here, I can go to sleep without the TV on. When he is here, he likes to sleep with the TV on. I like my husband more than I like to sleep with the TV off. So we watch TV. But it's like, hey, can we watch like a nature documentary? We just got done with this great one about plants. Like plants are freaking amazing. It was really good, but yeah, it took us like 2.5 weeks to finish the 3-part series because we just put it on and the voice and now I'm thinking about it like from a nervous system perspective, the music, the sounds, the scenery, the nature, plus the however they do the documentaries, that voice, that British, it's always British, right? That
always British
voice. So a sidetrack there, because I hadn't really thought about that. We are even engaging our nervous system going to bed, or if we wake up first thing in the morning when we grab our phones or things.
Yes, that is a huge, huge thing. And I think we've heard it everywhere, first thing in the morning, don't look at social media, like take time for yourself. It really is so important. It's the first thing that you do in the morning is going to set the tone for your entire day. So if you're looking on social media, you're going to be distracted from the get-go throughout your entire day. And it may be in subtle ways, but those subtle ways, they stack up.
Yeah,
it's not a one and done kind of situation. Your body is remembering everything that you're doing and everything that you're not doing.
There's so many more questions that I want to ask. There's so much stuff that I want to talk about. But y'all, this show is only so long. We can't go over the time. We can just have Jen come back again another day. She is another one of these women entrepreneurs living child-free. So Jen, can I pose to you, what excites you about networking with other women entrepreneurs living child-free?
I love people in general. I think it's so important. We have to have a community. I was just actually speaking about this last night with a friend. You have your different communities, your couples that you hang out with, you have your family community, you have your entrepreneur community, and then you have like your close-knit friend community. To me, it's so important to kind of intertwine all of those together because then we stop and compartmentalize if we don't kind of intertwine our lives. And I think it's so important to have strong, amazing women who are going through the same things, maybe not at the same time you are, but they've been through it, or they're getting ready to go through something you're going through. And it's so important because you can then do life together because we're not meant to do it alone.
Yeah, we are a communal species, y'all. We want people. So because you're a woman entrepreneur living child-free, any of y'all out there watching on Facebook, we do have a Facebook group. It's private just for us ladies. We've got a page on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube channel where this is streaming live. So come hang out, ladies. And if you're not a woman entrepreneur living child-free, send those women entrepreneurs living child-free over here to hang out with us. Now, Jennifer, we have reached that time in the show where we need to know before we go, what else? What do we need to know?
I would love for you to come and just say hi to me on any of the social media platforms. I'm J Grove Wellness everywhere and anywhere. You'll see me probably with a sweatshirt on in most of the profile pictures that says, self-care is not selfish, because it is not. So I would love to continue the conversation with anybody who would love to just pick my brain, ask me questions. I'm a plethora of knowledge.
Jen, thank you so very much for being here with us today, for sharing with us today. It has been a pleasure. I do have to say you are the first venting coach that I have ever met. I have found that the women entrepreneurs living child-free have a larger diversity of creative professions. I don't know if it's because they have that space and time to have that creativity. But yeah, so my very first venting coach that I've met here today with y'all ladies, it has been a pleasure. We will see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, here where you are watching this. Have an amazing Friday, y'all.
Bye-bye.
It's not letting us end the stream. So here y'all, bye. I'm just gonna shut this down completely and hopefully it ends. Technology. Yay. Have a great day, y'all.